Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this Facebook chat, live video chat with Adrian Grenier this afternoon, which is just going to begin in a moment. My name is Matt Peterson. I'm President and CEO of Global Green USA, and we're an environmental organization, a national environmental group that works with schools, cities, affordable housing, and communities in need to help create a better, cleaner, healthier future for them, as well as reduce energy costs and reduce the utility costs of school districts and cities and low-income families across the country, as well as in New Orleans and Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, and other cities around the country. Tonight here in New York, we're going to honor leaders in the environmental movement and the sustainable designs that they've come up with to help create a better future so that we have a healthy future for generations to come. And our 12th annual Sustainable Design Awards will include many different individuals and organizations, but one of the people we're most excited to honor is Adrian, and his work with Shift.com and his activism, his leadership and willingness to put himself on the line, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, has really made a difference and continues to, and we hope will continue to do this work and put his efforts forth to help lead us to a sustainable future for a long time to come. But one thing I want to talk about for a second that Adrian's helped Global Green with is our I Am Challenge campaign. Until tomorrow, November 15th, every individual can enter there and take the I Am Challenge and win a chance to get 2 tickets to our annual Oscars party in February of 2012. But most importantly, the I Am Challenge campaign is about getting individuals to take action across the country in their community. And if you go to globalgreen.org/IAM, you'll see the video which Adrian helped us create, and he is featured in, along with others like James Cameron, Serena Williams, Orlando Bloom, and others, is really about helping us realize the impact of sea level rise upon our communities and the things that we can do. Again, if you enter by tomorrow, you'll get a chance to win 2 tickets to our Oscars party next February in Los Angeles. But I also want to note that the kind of people that we're seeing participate in this campaign are school teachers and kids across the country who are really willing to put themselves on the line to make a difference. And it's that kind of action, becoming a citizen and a citizen entrepreneur, as I like to call it, is what's so important. And that's what Adrian embodies. He's somebody that walks the talk, whether it's at home or in his activism as he tries to help charities, including Global Green. And the environment's always been one of Adrian's strongest passions, whether the recycling club during his high school years, I guess, which must have been a lot of fun, or recently launching their award-winning website, Shift.com. And I know we have a lot of people out there in Facebook chat land that want to talk to Adrian, so I'm going to turn it over to him, but I want to thank you, Adrian, for doing this with us today and being part of this.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I guess it's my turn.
It's now your turn. You get to read the question and talk about what people are interested to learn about the environment.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a question. So I'll just read these out. So this is a quote. So I'm ready, no, that's me. Okay, so just type in a question you have for me on this Facebook. We're going to get this. Type a question on Ustream or Facebook in the boxes, and we'll get started. Okay, one's coming through. Can you tell us about Shift.com and what inspired you to start it? Okay, so Shift.com is a website. It's an online magazine and store, and it's basically a place for people like me who are often turned off and alienated by extreme environmentalism and a lot of happy green talk, where people can come to find real, viable, subtle, yet meaningful options within products and cool content, so that it can become something that you can easily adopt into your lifestyle. It's just a very matter-of-fact, as it should be, sustainable experience. So it's design first, it's art, it's culture, it's music, it's the things we love anyway, the things that we enjoy, with sustainability having a secondary, meaningful component. Okay, let's take another question. What's going on with the partnership between Shift.com and Ford Motor Company? Yeah, we just announced that today. Thanks for asking. So we at Shift partner up with companies as sponsors who are aligned with our core values. So Ford has come on board to sponsor a 10-part series on innovation, and it's it's very exciting to see companies like Ford, big companies, making shifts as well. So shift is about our individual shifts on a consumer level and the changes that we make in our own lives, but it's also about holding up a microphone for companies that want to address the demands, the growing demands for new technologies and green innovations, because that's the future. And it's very exciting to see industry starting to make those shifts, because our economy needs it, and we need new jobs. So kudos to Ford, and we're excited to get working on the series. Do you recall the point in your life when your outlook shifted and protecting the planet became more important to you? Yeah, I was working on. I'm at Global Green tonight. I'm gonna give a little speech, and maybe I'll give you a little preview of the things that I'm going to talk about. One of which is the sort of evolution of my environmental evolution, of my environmental passion, rather. I went through many different extremes. I've always cared, and I've always seen how sort of ignorant consumption and wasteful business can be so destructive to the planet, and I always wanted to do something about it. And early on in my youth, when I was more rebellious and aggressive, maybe a little more naive, I was often very neurotic and obsessed about trying to change everybody and everything, and be so extreme that I was getting sick, and I was really unhappy because the woes of the world were so overwhelming, and I absorbed them so readily, emotionally. And then I went to the opposite extreme, where I just didn't care anymore. I just gave up. So I became very apathetic, and you know what? I wasn't happy doing that either, because I still somewhere inside knew that I needed to participate. I needed to do my role as a citizen, as a human being. And I knew I wouldn't be happy if I just, ignored everything. So I've recently found a nice middle ground, nice balance with my work with Shift, which is about the subtle changes, about really embracing and acknowledging people when they make those subtle yet important changes, because collectively, together, all of those little changes add up. And if we encourage them, they just build on themselves, and changes and shifts beget more changes and shifts. So to me, it's about finding inspiration in life, but not about being neurotic or apathetic, somewhere in the middle. Okay, so besides keeping it green, what other charities do you find important? Okay. Hey, Cheryl. I like to support charities and organizations that somehow get to the root of an issue, that aren't Band-Aid charities, sort of addressing the symptoms. I like organizations that are really trying to, on a very deep level, change systems and the way things work, help with policy, or for example, besides Global Green, of course, Oceana is one that's very important, because they do great things for the ocean. The ocean, water in the oceans are fundamental. They're a building block of life and civilization. So that's very important that we address oceans and water issues. Charity Water is another one, because they don't just give some money or some, donations to third world countries. They help to address root problems such as the importance and need for clean drinking water, and go in and build wells that keep giving continuously over time so that people can get on and pick themselves up. So it's really just organizations that deal with root issues. Education, edible schoolyards, started in San Francisco by Alice Waters, is one that's very close to my heart, because you start with education, and everything starts with education. If you get to kids young, you teach them about food politics and health, nutrition, how to cook, how to appreciate food, how to taste food, and really know what tastes good and find the good stuff. They take those lessons on, and it affects all areas of their lives. So I'll take another question. Okay, what advice can you give for people who are trying to live a more sustainable life? It's a hard question, and I think a lot of people are looking for sort of a to-do list. Okay, here's 1 through 10, check, check, check. Okay, I'm done. And I don't think that's a reality. There's no one answer. There's no 10 answers. It's really about transforming the way you live and your perception of the world, and how you see the importance of your participation in civilization, in society, as a human being, which I think is what you can do. Nobody's going to give you an answer. It's all about how we communicate together to find multiple answers, so that the solutions can happen on many different levels. As I was saying before, individual consumer levels, where you put your dollars is important, but also top down, the government, and having firm, strong, inspiring policy that is also important. So my suggestion to you would be, just get on, come to shift.com, go on globalgreen.org and participate, and make suggestions, and find little tiny solutions. What was the best fan encounter you've ever had? The best? Well, the best. They're all great. I haven't had one bad one. It's hard to choose. The best one, huh? They're all great. I can't choose. Forget it. Next question. Okay, tell us about your new wine label. What inspired Stomping Ground? Hi, Holly. So Shift.com is a lifestyle website. It's about transforming your entire life, and about communing with your friends, and communicating about issues, and sharing ideas, and living an inspired, shared life. Because remember, if you share things, you share the carbon footprint of things. You share showers, you reduce water waste. So for us, it's about really starting to engage more with friends. And so we started a wine because we throw a lot of dinner parties, and if you're over 21, obviously, it's a great way to sit down and communicate. And I think wine, as a symbol of shared experience, was right for us. And our wine is called Stomping Ground. It's about the home turf, your stomping ground, respecting your little patch of land, and it's all sustainable, organically sourced grapes, biodynamic as well, and we've also made sure that the labels and the bottles are all sustainable as well in their own way. So that's it. Okay, has the Entourage movie started filming? When can we see it? From Tony. What's up, Tony? Entourage movie, can't wait, but I don't have any information for you. They say it's going to happen. We all want it to happen, and I think the fans want it, so I think it's just a matter of time. But I did see, actually, there's a Facebook page I think it's called like We Want an Entourage Movie, I think is what it's called. And go there and like it, because I think if we get enough people to like that page, we will prove the demand and it'll be inevitable. They can't say no. What would you like to see happen with Vince in the Entourage movie? Well, I hope you do it soon. Otherwise, we're going to have like geriatrics Entourage, you know, old age homes, Vince and the boys, Turtle in wheelchairs. So I just want to see it happen soon. Do you ever get tired of people talking about your eyes? Do they talk about my eyes? I didn't know that. No, never. Never tired of that. What are some things colleges can do to help the environment? From Megan. Colleges, huh? What can they do? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, specifically, you know, it's a great place for educating on, you know, sustainability and the politics of it. It's a great, you know, colleges are a great place to organize and get people together, people who are already in a place where they're primed and ready to think and discover things. So I'd say it's a great place to bring people together and try and solve some of our biggest issues. I think probably some of our solutions, the biggest solutions to our problems, haven't even been invented yet. They haven't even been conceived. So, you know, in the colleges where people are delving into these issues, and some of the greatest minds are working hard at, you know, trying to solve them, that's where it's at. Okay, you are Native American and Irish, but your name sounds French. Tell us about your background. So yes, I'm Native American, Irish, Spanish, and French. Actually, I have a nice blend. And so somewhere in my lineage, there was a Grenier, and then it got lost. And then my mother, well, while she was finding her own independence, decided to readopt that name, Grenier. So there's been a lot of names throughout my family, and Grenier was maybe the most fanciful that she took a liking to, so she reclaimed it. Do you feel that eating organic as much as possible is a better way to keep our world healthier? Yeah, organic I think is very, very important because in order to help the environment at large, the bigger world, first you have to start with the environment, which is your own body, your health, and you have to make sure you have a strong, healthy body and mind so that you can have the capacity and the strength and the longevity to do all you can for the good of the larger planet, the Earth. So I think it all starts with what you put into your body and making sure that it's healthy and it comes from good sources. And organic is a great way of, you know, narrowing down the focus to the foods that you know have at least a minimum level of vetted, you know, quality. So yes, definitely organic, and I'm all about labeling things, and that's why you know, Stonyfield Farm, who's one of Shift's founding partners, is on a big campaign to require labeling on foods so that we know where they come from. You know, of course, you know the caloric in the ingredients, but you don't necessarily know where those ingredients come from. So the next wave, the next new wave of labeling is going to be about the quality and the organic content and the source of the food that we consume. Because knowledge is power. We need to know. It's what, you know, we should demand it. Okay, what are your favorite things to do in your spare time? Favorite things to do in my spare time. I like to play music. I do like to play music. I really like to play music. And I like to play chess. Chess and music. Okay. What was it like working with Woody Allen? Oh, wow. Blast from the past. Woody Allen, legend. Great. It was awesome. He's a very quiet, unassuming director. He's such a great writer. I think because he writes such fantastic scripts, he allows the script to direct the film to a great degree. And I think that's the truth with great scripts. You don't, if it's written on the page and you know what you're supposed to do, as an actor, you don't need a lot of direction. So he was very hands-off and would come in every once in a while just to slightly nudge you in one way or the other. Very impressive. Yeah. Have you exerted your green influence on TV movie sets? Yeah, actually, we created a show called Alter Eco that was on Planet Green, the Discovery Channel, about 4 years ago. And we actually, for one of the episodes, we went on set on Entourage and did our best to green it over to help reduce some of the waste. The difficulty with that is, obviously, productions have a limited budget, and they're trying to cut costs and save money, and some of these practices can be a bit more expensive, or at least require added effort, hiring somebody to oversee that process, which is another expense. So what I'm really looking for is, industry-wide mandates and changes within the film industry, so that you can reduce costs across all of the different projects. So you amortize the cost of that of greening the industry over all the different productions. So if Warner Brothers or HBO were to make a top-down mandate, and I don't know, I know that HBO has made some, then they can actually, put the cost across all of the different productions. So it really is that's one particular case where you really need a top-down approach to making sure that the film industry is more sustainably sound. Okay, what is your favorite story from shooting Devil Wears Prada? Well, here's a little unknown fact. During filming Devil Wears Prada, I had a little bout of alopecia. Do you know what alopecia is? It's where you lose your hair. It's like a nerve, like when you get nervous, suddenly like you lose a little hair. And if you notice, I didn't even know that I had it. It's just like a little patch, a little bald patch right here. And I didn't even know I had it until, in retrospect, I looked and there's a little bald patch. You'd never notice it, but I cured it by relaxing more and just working less. What is your favorite character that you've played? From Beth. My favorite character? Oh, I have a problem with the favorites questions because it's hard to choose. Shoot. I mean, can I say Vince? That was a lot of fun. I'll say Vince. Any chance that that your former band Kid Friendly will make a comeback? Actually, I reached into the archives and I took out a bunch of our songs that we recorded way back in the days, like over 10 years ago. Yeah, like 10 or 12 years ago. And I've been remastering them, I guess. I don't know. We recorded them on 4-track, I think, to a large degree. And so now I'm sort of bringing them back together so that I can finally, after all these years, put them out. Because this was like before the internet. Like, yeah, I mean, the internet was around, but we didn't know how to use it at the time. So now that we do, I'm going to put them out online and let you enjoy them or criticize them or whatever you want to do. Do you have a hero? Yes, and it's going to be very corny, but my mother's my hero, Hira. I'm an only child. She was a single mother, so we're very close. But I owe, a lot to everything to my mother, especially my outlook on the world and my ability to, I think, find real joy in giving back. And I thank her for showing me that there is joy when you don't just, take, but when you give back. What's going on with the Honey Brothers? Oh, I know the Honey Brothers. I miss those guys. It's hard. It's hard because we're all over the place. I'm in LA a lot, and I'm working, I'm traveling, and a lot of the other guys are traveling also, and some of us have babies, not me, and families. So it's been difficult as of late, but we do have an album that we recorded, and we are planning on releasing it any day now, like in the next couple months, hopefully. Right now we're fighting over the album cover, the picture, which is really the only thing holding us back. But it's typical band stuff, arguing and bickering about every little creative detail. I've decided to extricate myself from the process, so maybe that'll help hurry it along a little bit. Better yet, if you guys have a suggestion on what the album cover should be, or if maybe you just have an image that you want to submit, the name of the album is going to be Time Flies Like a Peach. So if you go on that theme, maybe you could create the album cover and we'll be done tonight. We'll get your emails and just be done with it. I guess you can email me at me@recklessny.com, me@reckless, RECKLESSNY.com, or you can go to thehoneybrothers.com and submit. What do you listen to or read in your spare time? I read a lot of scripts, and unfortunately scripts have taken precedence over just pleasure reading, but I need to get my next job, so that's really where I've been putting my focus, and listening to Funkadelic is one of my favorite bands. I listen to them. As you are a musician, do you look for acting roles where you can showcase your musical talents? No, not necessarily. Although it's funny you should ask, because there is a role that I'm looking at. I'm going to go on a meeting tomorrow about a couple guys who play music. So, not necessarily, but yeah, why not? What was it like to be in a Britney Spears music video from Holly? Hi, Holly. That it was very interesting, actually. Wow, that was a long time ago. It's funny because my first documentary, Shot in the Dark, I was shooting it right around that time, and when I did the Britney Spears music video, I said I can't do the video because I'm shooting my documentary, but I guess if I did the music video, I would want to bring my documentary crew and do an interview with Britney Spears. And so I did. So there's it didn't actually end up in the movie, but on the DVD extras of Shot in the Dark, you can see the interview that I did with Britney Spears way back in the day, and behind the scenes footage of the video, which is kind of funny because I had a whole beard when I showed up, and then I shaved it off, and then I'm clean shaven, as you see in the video. And I'm doing some ridiculous dances. It's fun. How do you select all of your organic products? It's always great to go to reliable sources. So you don't have to, not necessarily do a lot of reading of labels and such. So I go to Nature Mart was a place I went to in New York, in LA rather, but I think they're changing management, so they may not be called Nature Mart anymore. But going to health food stores, and in New York, I shop at the Food Co-op, which I think is one of the most fulfilling experiences to be involved in a food co-op, because you put in a little work, a little effort, and you actually contribute to a community of people who are sourcing the best, and you just know everything you're getting from them is going to be, just the best and organic and fresh. And so shop at food co-ops and health food stores. Oh, and you can go to, if you want some, my mother actually has a company called International Harvest, which has organic dried fruits and nuts. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it's a great source. I think it's gohunza.com. Hunza, Hunza, go. Okay, what's your favorite location in our great USA? New York. New York. Come on, Brooklyn. Period. How have you made your Brooklyn home? Look at that. That's perfect. How have you made your Brooklyn home more eco-friendly? Yeah, so when I started building my home, that was actually building my home in Brooklyn and wanting to make it as sustainable as possible was one of the reasons why I created Shift.com, because I didn't really see that there was a destination to find the stuff I was looking for in sustainability. I had to do a lot of research. This was already 6-7 years ago. I had to do a lot of research online, and there was no resource for building green. So it was a lot of effort, and it was prohibitive in a lot of ways. I almost wanted to give up, but I didn't. And ultimately, creating Shift.com is a place where people can go to get information, and if you're looking to make your home more eco-friendly, you can find those resources now, thank goodness. But so I've done lots of things, reclaimed hardwood floors from old beams of barns. They're beautiful with nail holes, and they're just really gorgeous, reclaimed. Low VOC paints. VOC is a volatile organic compound. So a lot of paints and adhesives and that sort of thing that go on in a couple coats, and then you don't really notice anymore. They're actually the toxic ones are giving off fumes, throughout the life of the paint that you're breathing in. So we got low VOC paints and stuff so that it's just clean breathing in my own home. And a lot of these sustainable things are about improving your quality of life and just making life better for yourself. They're selfish on some level, I guess, but I think that's okay to be selfish in those ways. Solar panels on the roof. In a lot of ways in New York, it's more of a symbolic thing. I felt like I had to do it just to help put my money towards that industry. Although there's a lot of clouds in New York, so it's not as sunny as it might be in California or somewhere else. But I'm glad that I have them, and it actually does reduce my electricity bills, which is obviously a benefit. Okay, where's your favorite place to eat in Brooklyn? One other thing about my house is I also have radiant heat, which I really like. It's basically tubes inside the floor, which is a more efficient heat, but it's also a more pleasant heat because it's not dry, blown air heat, but it's just more moist and pleasant. So that was another thing that I got, which was quite enjoyable. And a green roof. I got a green roof. There's a lot of things. We could go on for a long time, actually. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put together a blog about my house and throw it up on Shift. With the holidays coming up, what would you suggest for green gifts? If you go to Shift.com, we have over 350 items to choose from. So if you're looking for green gifts, go to our site. I mean, just in general, there's just so many cool things to get. Luxury items, and then maybe more, just smaller stuff. Also, hand-me-downs. Give something off your back. Maybe something you're not using anymore. Maybe you could refurbish it a little bit. Take an old record player or an old set of records and give them away. Records? Do people use records? I do. And what else? I mean, you can make gifts. Always making gifts is always a beautiful thing. And people always, I think, appreciate the effort. And I always wrap my gifts with old newspapers or old paper from anywhere. It's always a much more interesting wrap than standard wrapping paper. Is there a green-themed or environmental book that has inspired you? Yes, but I forget the name of it. Can I get back to you on that? What was it, the Michael Pollock book? What was that? Does anybody know? Am I alone here? Hello? Anybody here? No, I'm all alone in my room with this lighting system. Who's your favorite on-screen love interest? Again, with the favorites. Can I say Turtle? There's a lot of love there, right? Turtle. What upcoming film are you looking forward to seeing? Oh, there's some good ones coming out. What's good? What's coming out these days? I have to take out my iPhone to look. Can I get back to you on that? Are there any good movies coming out? Why don't you tell me what I should see? Tweet me. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I've been working so hard. I haven't had time to go to the movies, let alone know what's out there. So please tweet me some suggestions. Thank you. Okay, for the tweehards out there, what's that? Tweehards. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Okay, you guys are starting to stump me. Let me get on this. Okay, I'm Googling that now. What is this? Tweehards. I hope this isn't a joke. It doesn't say here.
Twilight. Breaking Dawn.
Is that what that is? Oh my Lord. See, I'm not a teenage girl, so I wouldn't know. Okay, so I'm going to have to pass on that one because I'm just too old and I'm not a lady. Do you have any pets? I don't. I don't have any pets. It's been a while, but I'm just way too busy and traveling too much to really treat a pet as it should be treated. So I haven't taken on that responsibility. Although every once in a while I like to foster some cats, or I like cats. I like dogs too, but for some reason I like cats. So I like to foster some cats until they find a home. It's a nice, if I have a couple weeks to take care of them and while they find a home, it's a nice way to kind of have pets but not have the full responsibility. What do you know? When did you know that you wanted to become an actor? How'd you? I always took classes after school and enjoyed just the expressiveness and being able to tell stories and communicate ideas through theater and film. And of course, I loved going to the movies and film in general. For a while, I thought I wanted to be, I think I am a filmmaker, I guess, a director. But I thought that's all I wanted to do. I went to school for film, and then I realized at some point that I could actually make a decent living at acting, so I started putting my focus there. And so now I'm going back to directing a little more and hopefully doing a nice balance. So acting really has given me an opportunity to direct the independent projects that I have. Yeah. Okay. Are you a meat and potatoes guy, or a sweets guy? Meat, potatoes, sweets guy. I can't say both. I'm usually like, main course, salad, main course, a little couple sides, dessert, maybe, reach over and start nibbling on whoever I'm dining with, their plate. I have a big appetite. Meat and potatoes, though. Sweets, though, too. I don't know. Do you have to choose? What directors would you like to work with? Well, Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino. We'll go with them. Favorite TV show you're currently watching? I just started Breaking Bad. I'm behind, but it just started. I'm liking it. What was it like working with legendary director John Waters? He's a great guy, very eccentric if you haven't noticed, extremely eccentric, and it was great. I mean, it was definitely experience. Experience is the right word, but a lot of fun. And I love Baltimore, and he's got a great clan down there. He's got a great group of, really smart, creative people, humble. It's not like, all corrupted by Hollywood. So a lot of respect for his independent spirit. Who were some of your biggest influences growing up? Biggest influences growing up? The Beatles. Yeah, the Beatles. If you weren't an actor, what type of job would you want to have? I don't know, maybe I kind of wanted to be an architect for a little while, or like a psychiatrist. The architecture of the brain is always interesting to me as well. What kind of movie or TV show would you love to be in next? I think like a big action movie would be a lot of fun. Not too much dialogue, a lot of fighting, flying maybe, motorcycle chases. Do you cook? If so, what are your favorite things to make? Yes, I do cook. I love to cook. What do I like to cook? I like to cook. I make a really good pizza. A really good caramelized onion pizza with like Gruyere cheese and arugula on top with like a marmalade sort of layer of marmalade. Give it a nice sweet undertone. Complements the onions, and then the sharpness of the cheese cuts that sweetness, and then I can go on. I love it. Do you feel like you have accomplished most of what you wanted at this point in your life? Yeah. I think so. I feel like I'm just really getting started, but I feel like there's some good momentum. I'm really proud of Shift and what we've been doing there, because for a while, we didn't know if it was going to catch on, if there was really going to be a market, any demand for sustainable living. So we put we took a gamble, and I'm just really happy to know that it's actually paying off, and that things seem to be looking up. Which sport teams do you follow? I hate to admit it, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for it, but ask Jerry. Ask Jerry Ferrara. I'm not a sports guy. I mean, I really want to be. I really do, but I just don't know much about sports. And it's just actually Jerry and I were talking about maybe I could take some lessons from him. I try and follow his Twitter feed sometimes to get some tips, but I like going to games. I do like to go to games, and I like to play. I like to play sports, but following the details is difficult. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Dinner with the folks. I might have a dinner at my house, and of course you make the rounds, and then I'll probably go to my aunt's house, and maybe a couple of friends' Thanksgiving parties. It's just the time to start making, building up, for the winter. Are you similar to your Entourage character, Vince? How are you different? Do I seem similar? I think Vince has a bit more knowledge about sports than I do. But, in a lot of ways, Vince was fashioned after me and created for me on some level, and I helped to inform the character, but of course there are many differences. What makes you smile? The word smile, apparently. Okay. What actors would you like to work with that you haven't already? I've always wanted to work with Johnny Depp. What's one motto you try to live by? Give and you shall receive, I'd say. I think that's probably true. What worries you most about the state of the planet, and what you're most optimistic about for its future? I guess I try not to be too worried about the planet. I really do believe that evolution will reign superior, and everything's going to work out. The question is whether or not we as human beings are going to be around to see that happen. So what worries me, I guess, is that we as a species won't get our stuff together enough to see that we can actually enjoy, our future. That's the one thing that worries it, because I actually enjoy life, and I think life is worth preserving, and so I hope for our sake that we can work together to see ourselves 100 years from now. And what I'm optimistic about is that I think we can. I think we will. I think if we are truly evolved and an intelligent species, which we think we are, we claim to be, we should be able to build the best technologies that don't, create destruction on the planet. I think we should be able to. We should be able to be doing some pretty amazing things technologically, and I think we're still too proud and arrogant about such primitive technologies like the internal combustion engine, or the discovery of oil, that we can burn oil and explode things and blow up things. I think we're too enamored by that. So I think it's time that we move on, evolve, and truly realize the best part of what we can be. When it comes to living sustainably, what is your biggest challenge? From Susan. Hi, Susan. The biggest challenge, I don't know. I mean, just I only see opportunities these days. I don't, you know, it's, of course we know the challenges. There are many, but I'm really looking for opportunities and solutions, and trying to find the inspiration to continue to work at it. If we focus too much on the problems, you know, we won't get on with the solutions. What reality show would you do really well on? Well, I mean, I guess it'd have to be something about me, right? The Adrian Grenier Sustainable Living Show. What do you love most about Los Angeles? You know, I've made so many great friends in Los Angeles, and judge it if you will, but it's a place where some of the greatest people, smartest people, most creative people come to work and make great things. And for a long time, I looked down on Hollywood for, you know, all the superficiality, and there is a lot of it. Believe me, a lot of people come to just be famous, and they don't really contribute anything. But underneath all that, there's some really great people that I've grown to, you know, love and have really great friendships with, and so I'd say the people. My favorite vacation spot? Long Island. I go out to visit my mom as much as possible in Long Island. It's not very far, but it's nice. Okay, what's on your bucket list? Well, you know, Richard Branson's trying to send people to space. I think that'd be pretty awesome. Scary, but awesome. I'd like to go to space. What is your most embarrassing moment? Oh, man. How do you choose? My most embarrassing moment? Oh, yoy. I can't tell my most embarrassing moments. They're too embarrassing. Am I blushing? Totally. I feel like it. I'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay, how do you memorize lines? Do you have any strategy tips you would like to share? That's a tough one. Repetition. Just that's it. That's all you can do. Repetition, repetition, repetition. I always find it easier to learn your lines when you're working off somebody else. So instead of doing it in your own head, you have someone reading you the other parts or the other lines, or even your own lines so that you can hear them. Because when you connect the lines to your intention, it's easier to retain. If they're just like words to memorize in a particular order, you know, that doesn't make sense. But if you know what you're trying to say, it's easier to connect those words with what you need. And then if the line is "pass me the milk" and you see the milk, it's easy to know what the line is. Just pass me the milk. What is one place you've never been but have always wanted to travel to? One place. Thailand. Can't wait to go. Would you consider starting your own eco-friendly clothing line? Yeah, but yeah, sure, I'd consider it. Share a crazy paparazzi story with us. How do you deal with paparazzi? I deal with paparazzi by living in Brooklyn. They don't come to my neighborhood. They wouldn't dare. And, you know, the paparazzi, I don't know. It's funny stories. I mean, I guess my best story is when the one guy wanted me to. He goes, "Hey, where's Charlie, man? Where's Charlie?" And it was, my roommate's dog. And I was like, It's not my dog. I don't know where Charlie is. Charlie's probably with my roommate. And he's like, "Oh, but you got to get Charlie because those pictures sell better." And I was like, "I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you." And so he leaves, and about 25 minutes later, the car pulls up. He jumps out. He hands me a leash, and I look, and before I have a chance to react, I'm holding this dog. He takes a couple pictures, and he says, "Thanks." I'm like, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh, that's my dog." He went home and he got his dog and he thrust his dog into my hands so he could take a picture so that it would sell. If you could have dinner with 3 people, alive or dead, who would it be? 3 people. Charlie Chaplin. Nina Simone. And Carrot Top. Why not? What was the best part about being raised in New York? From Adriana. Best part about being raised in New York, besides the being raised in New York part? I mean, just so much energy and culture, and it demands that you pay attention. It requires that you participate, and I'm very lazy. So I guess if I lived anywhere else, I would never leave my house. Do you ever miss the beginning days of Entourage? Yeah, I mean, somewhat. I'm happy. I think it's the right time for Entourage to move on and change and grow and become a movie, hopefully. And of course, I look at the early days with great fondness, nostalgia, all that. But only for fleeting moments do I miss it, because I'm so happy being here now. What was your first job? Well, define job. I guess for money, I used to. My mom would pay me to. She's a real estate agent, and one of the best in New York, by the way. So if you need a real estate agent, Grenier, top of the line. But she used to pay me to stuff envelopes. This is back in the day, when they, before the internet, back in the day, when everything wasn't digitized, and they used to have to send out mailings to show, their clients what apartments were available. So you fold up the mailing and you put it in the envelope, and then you write it. It was, a lot of work, but she paid me, I think minimum wage at the time was $4.25 an hour. What inspired your film Teenage Paparazzo? Teenage Paparazzo was sort of a necessity. I really wanted to make sense of, I guess, my role as a celebrity, becoming a celebrity, playing a celebrity, and trying to understand what that really meant. And also trying to understand what this whole industry was about, the whole tabloid industry and the gossip and the paparazzi who thought that it was okay to be so disrespectful to other people and exploit them so, without care. So it was just really because I had all these questions and I had to just figure it out. And I guess I use film and documentaries in particular as a tool to try and answer questions. What other projects do you have in the works? Besides Shift, which has been taking up a lot of my time, I'm working on a couple screenplays, a couple scripts that I hope to produce, and one of them to direct. And trying to grow my production company, Reckless Productions, so that it can expand beyond just the couple projects that I've personally been involved in, but start to take on other projects that my partners can manage and produce. So a couple good movies. In fact, if you go to the website recklessproductionsny.com, no, sorry, that's wrong. recklessny.com, no productions, recklessny.com. You can see all the things we have going on. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much for today and being part of this chat series. I hope I answered all of your questions. And thanks to Global Green for the honor tonight. And don't forget to go to globalgreen.org to learn more about the incredible work that they're doing. And of course, shift.com. And I hope you have a great afternoon, and I will see you next time.